Am I the asshole for publicly calling out my sister and her new husband for lying about their wedding being child-free? My stepdaughter 15, Jane, has a burn scar around her neck and covers one side of her face. The reason was an accident that took place 4 years ago. And yes, she's already gotten tons of insensitive comments, but to me and her dad, she's still the most beautiful soul. My family has been supportive and loving towards Jane. My sister and her now husband got married 2 days ago. They told me and my husband that they decided the wedding will be child-free, meaning Jane couldn't come. They asked if that'd be okay and we said yeah, absolutely. We respect the bride and groom's rules. I've immediately arranged for Jane to stay with a friend that she calls Auntie, though Jane wanted to attend the wedding, but I explained this was a rule for everyone and we should respect that. My husband and I got to the venue and first thing we noticed was kids. Kids of all ages all around the venue. My husband literally stopped walking. He paused for a few seconds, looked at me, then let go of my hand and said he was out of here. He walked out, but I stood still when my mom saw me and signaled me to come join the family, but I didn't go. I asked one of the guests who had his kid with him and he said this event allowed kids. I was seeing red at this point because I was fooled into leaving Jane at home and coming with my husband only. I ignored my mom and went straight to where my sister and her husband were standing. Then I blew up at them asking why they lied about this wedding being child-free when it wasn't. I asked them in front of everyone why they decided to basically lie to me and my husband and get us to exclude our daughter. Why? Is Jane somehow different from the other kids who showed up? My sister tried to calm me down, but I bluntly asked if it was because her stepniece had a burn scar / visible injury that she and her husband were too ashamed of. I literally heard the guests saying, "Oh." My mom tried to get me to step off the stage, but I proceeded to call my sister and her husband awful, insensitive people with no respect for me nor their niece. My sister started crying, saying that they would never and that I misunderstood. And my brother-in-law begged me to go sit, but I refused and said I wasn't interested in celebrating / supporting their marriage after this. I walked out and was followed by my mom and aunts lashing out, saying I went way out of line and was disrespectful of the bride, who's my sister for God's sake, and ruined her wedding by saying that in front of everyone. Mom said it was brother-in-law's idea and that I have a right to be mad, but I should have confronted her later, not in front of the guests and ruining the event. They said eventually this was their day and they get to decide, but still, they said I should have spoken to her privately or left without making a scene. Am I the asshole for subscribing to my coworker's OnlyFans? Okay, so I work at a local restaurant and I, 36 male, have a coworker, 27 female, who has an OnlyFans and she has never really kept that fact a secret. She tries to get the other hostesses to start doing it for a while. So this past week, I guess there was some news on OnlyFans saying they were gonna shut down the sexually explicit stuff, so she was more vocal about OnlyFans stuff at work than usual. I overheard that she goes by her first name on OnlyFans, which is pretty unique. Out of curiosity, I did a search for her name and was able to find it, and I subbed. I don't know how she found out, like if they can see subscriber names or something, but today she asked me if I subscribed to her OnlyFans and I was like, yeah. She told me that's not cool and I'm evading her privacy. I'm like, okay, I can cancel my sub. Then she tells me to delete any pics and videos I saved, and I was like, no, I paid for those. So she says she'll give me my money back, and I'm like, okay then. But now she wants to come to my house to make sure I delete the stuff. And I'm like, no way, just take my word for it. But she keeps insisting on coming to my place. She says I'm an asshole for all of this, but I think she's an asshole for making such a big deal about this. It's not like I've ever made any creepy comments in person or commented anything on her OnlyFans stuff. I was like, dude, who the F cares if I know what your butthole looks like? Hundreds of people know what it looks like. Am I the asshole for making my girlfriend pay for a t-shirt she ruined? This happened over a month ago, but it still bothers me. Maybe I'll return the money to her. I still don't know. Basically, my girlfriend menstruated on one of my t-shirts. She didn't tell me. I found out and she confirmed that she bled on it and ruined it. It cost me over $100 and it's a dead stock tee. So I can't just buy another one. I thought it was fair that since she ruined it, she should. What's bothering me the most was that she never even bothered telling me. So yeah, she paid me for the price I paid for the t-shirt. Does this mean I'm an asshole? Am I the asshole for taking back the present I got for my girlfriend's birthday? Context: I'm 28 male and my girlfriend is 27. We've been together for 4 years. She's going back to school, so I thought it would be a nice gesture to buy her an iPad for her birthday, since school is starting around that time. It's the newish iPad but not the Pro. When I gave it to her, she seemed happy, but I could tell something was off. I asked her what, and she said that she wanted the iPad Pro but thanked me anyway for the gift. It honestly hurt. I'm not trying to throw around numbers, but those things aren't cheap, and her having said that was kind of a slap in the face. I didn't say much about it after that since she used it a lot. Fast forward a couple of days ago, we were at home and she made a comment about how she was saving money to buy the new iPad Pro. I did not know that, and I shouldn't have bought it for her. Fed up, I took the iPad from the room and reset it. Told her I'm taking it back and gonna try to get my money back. If not, I was gonna sell it and try getting some money for it, since she keeps making comments and making me feel bad for even buying it. So am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for getting mad at my girlfriend for inviting her friend and 2 dogs on a romantic beach trip? So a little backstory. I get up at 5 a.m. for work every day and work outside in the Texas heat. Girlfriend currently does not have a job. I told her I had a Friday off, talked to my boss, and he said I could leave early at 12:30 to go to the beach. 6-hour drive. We had planned it out and I booked a 5-star hotel, told her to be ready at 1:30. Her brother calls me and says she is on the phone saying her friend is coming and bringing her 2 dogs, FYI. Obviously, this ruined my entire plan. We were supposed to go horseback riding on the beach and have a romantic dinner, and I was hoping to get laid. She called me and proceeds to ask me if her friend can go. While I'm driving an hour to her curb, I said no. She got pissed off and said, well, I guess we're not going. So I already booked the hotel and decided to just go. We were supposed to leave at 1:30 and get there at 7:30. Her and her friend show up to her house. She had to leave to get her friend at 3:30. So we start to drive. 15 minutes in, she goes, what's up, Chris? Chris, why aren't you talking to me? What's wrong? What's going on? I completely ignored her and her friend goes, what the F is your problem? I continue to ignore both of them while driving. She says, okay, I will remember that. So I explode and said, you know we were supposed to have a romantic trip for one day. I dropped a lot of money. I have been up since 5 a.m. in the heat working. And you have the audacity to invite your friend and 2 dogs? You completely ruined everything. She goes, okay, I guess turn around and we don't go. I kept driving, so 3 hours in, they started to make small talk, and I decided to just talk and converse and deal with it. I ended up getting laid while her friend slept in a bed next to our bed. Trip was okay. On the way back, she complains that I'm quiet and not talking to her enough. I was pretty much giving her the silent treatment. I took her friend home, then dropped my girlfriend off, kissed her goodnight. That was on Friday. It's Monday and I have not heard from her since. I kind of feel bad for ignoring her when I first picked her up, but I also feel like she's majorly in the wrong. Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend to cancel dinner with his son and daughter-in-law because I was specifically not invited? I had made plans to go hang out with my boyfriend after work today and spend the night. We live an hour apart with my work being in the middle. Then he tells me he was invited to dinner with his son, his daughter-in-law, daughter-in-law's mother, and my boyfriend's ex-wife, whom I get along with just fine. We spend Christmas together too, so no big deal. My boyfriend's daughter-in-law says she does not want me to come because it will be awkward for her. I should mention that there's a big age gap between my boyfriend and me, and I think daughter-in-law and possibly his son too do not like the age difference. This isn't the first time I've been specifically not invited, and it really hurts my feelings. I asked my boyfriend not to go, but he replied that he had already said yes. So I told him if he goes to dinner, I'm not going to come over tonight. Even though he'd only be gone for an hour or two, my feelings are too hurt to wait around by myself for him to get back. Am I the asshole? 'Cause I sure feel like it, making my boyfriend choose like that. For clarification, my boyfriend and I made plans together. He asked me to come down every chance I get and always asks me to come down even when he knows I can't. We have been together for over 2 years and it is a serious relationship. The only reason we don't live together is because I have cats and his dog doesn't get along with cats. I am 12 years older than his son. I'm 40 and my boyfriend is 55. The son lives in the same town and he sees him several times a week. I have never excluded anyone in his family, including his ex-wife. We actually have invited her over for dinner several times as my boyfriend's daughter and granddaughter live there as well. And I'm an adult and not jealous of her. The daughter-in-law is known for being rude to everyone. Am I the asshole for taking $3 from my little sister's room to tip the pizza guy after dad accidentally didn't tip online? I noticed my sis usually has cash sitting in her room because she's a card prepper for a hotel and gets tips. She's had it sitting out before, but she knows I'd never steal from her. Well, my dad and I were frantically searching for cash around the house because he accidentally hit cash and not tip online. I texted her if I could grab a few bucks for him because it's so crappy to not tip somebody. She didn't respond. I didn't see any at first, but there was a wipes container partially popped open that had some money in it. I took $3 and let her know right away that I'd pay her back. She woke up from her friends this morning and is going ballistic, saying no one was supposed to find that money, and I said, I understand, absolutely go ahead and hide it elsewhere. I won't do it again. I didn't want to at all, but felt the situation called for it since he was going to be there soon. Closest place to get cash was 20 minutes away. She said she no longer trusts me. I crossed a line and now I'm starting to feel like I did a very bad thing. To put into perspective, we are both living there in our early 20s while she's in school, and because I just left an abusive relationship. I didn't think she would get mad, honestly, so am I the asshole?